Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sheffield United Way. My name's Nick, and as always, I am back for another video. Today, it's going to be about who's been retained, who's been released, and we're going to talk about those rumours that have been circulating from lots of different journalists. Alan Nixon, Danny Hall. There's not many others, actually, now, is there? But certainly those two have been talking about lots and lots of our players. And today we're going to be talking about those players. So, first and foremost, I think we need to talk about the players that have been released today. Now, I expected a lot more to have come out today, but it's just the released players, just the players that aren't being given another contract. The rest that were out of contract must be offered a new deal and it's not quite gone through yet, or they've not quite negotiated what everybody wants from it. So firstly, let's go through them. So we've got George Baldock, which we already kind of was ready for, weren't we? We've already done a video on this channel. Ollie did a fantastic, brilliant video about George Baldock and paid so many tributes to him. Chris Basham, another one that we possibly expected, even if he didn't receive that incredibly unlucky injury. I still think we might be waving goodbye to Chris Basham, unfortunately. Ollie Norwood, yeah, again, we all knew this was happening. Even Ollie Norwood himself put a story up saying the last time he's going to be either at the training ground or training, and he said it was the best 6 years of his career, which is lovely to hear, despite all the horrendous stick that he's had over the last couple of years or year and a half. Don't condone any of it at all, and I'll be honest, I've never given him stick at all. I may have critiqued one or two performances, but I know how massive Ollie Norwood has been for this football club, and how he's taken us from this level to this level. So yeah, I'm very sad to see those first three go. Baldock, Basham, and Norwood. They're three players that have had two promotions under their belt, at least. Basham three himself. Then we've got Wes Foderingham, which is a little bit different. Still, I've got to say that I wish Wes all the best of luck in the world. I'm sure he'll make another team very happy. He's a very good goalkeeper in the Championship, and I think that if someone's looking for a goalkeeper in the Championship, wherever you are in the Championship, Wes Foderingham will do a good job for you. So if there's anybody watching this from a different team in the future and you've just signed Wes Foderingham, you've got a very good goalkeeper on your hands. And do you know what? I'd like to see us sign Victor Johansson. I'd like to see us sign, I think it's Callum Patterson from Sunderland. But you know what? I think that Wes could have easily done a job in the Championship this season, but it seems like too much water's gone under the bridge between him and Chris Wilder and the club, and there's been a lot of that's one thing that I've not been particularly happy with Wes about, is all these Instagram stories and things like that that are really cryptic messages. That's him not being very happy with the situation at United, and I get it to a certain degree. Ivo Gerbic coming in, Wes didn't particularly have a good season this season. Ivo Gerbic has come in and done even worse, but yeah, I don't think Wes has got the right to give as much stick out when he's had a pretty poor season himself. He's done pretty well since he's come back in, but yeah, he leaves with all my support anyway, because we had two very good seasons with Wes Foderingham as our number one. Then we've got Max Lowe as well, who makes up the fifth player that's been released. There was rumours that Max Lowe was actually going to be offered another year. But obviously that was not to be. Who knows? Max Lowe's picked up loads of injuries in his time at Sheffield United. He's been injured for a lot of this season as well, and I couldn't believe it when I saw him go on the pitch at Everton. Like, I put on Twitter that I'd not looked at the subs because, really, let's be honest, since the I don't know, the Warnock days, I've not really been bothered about who's on the bench because we've not really had too many players to change games. So especially not this season. So I don't tend to look at the bench as much anymore. And the fact that Max Lowe made his first appearance in months, it was good to see, and actually played quite well when he came on as well. So if they'd have offered him another year, I might have been okay with it. I probably would have been. Actually, let's go through which players would I have been happy with seeing there for another year. I think the only one that I really expected to leave would have been Chris Basham because of the injury. George Baldock, I'd have been more than happy to have seen him in a red and white shirt for the rest of his career. But I actually think that he's the best for Baldock and his career, and he's given us so much in this. In his short Blades career, you've got to call it short because at the end of the day, he's only been with us kind of for 4 or 5 years. Something I'm trying to remember when he came in. It might even be more. And really, in football terms, that's a lot. But in his whole life, it's only a short time that we got to witness these players, but it's an incredible time as well. Chris Basham, hopefully, he gets some sort of testimonial. He's been with the club 10 years. That would be nice. He may not be able to play, he may just come on for the last 5 minutes or something like that. That's what Chris Morgan did. But yeah, I've got so much love for all these players. I'd have liked to have seen Norwood there one more year, just to kind of bed in all the new players that's going to be coming in. But yeah, I get why Norwood's been moved on. And I get why the rest have been moved on. I'm going to quickly read a quote from the Sheffield United website. They share a total of 9 promotions in their Blades careers, and the club see fit to release this news ahead of the end of the campaign to enable them to receive acclaim from United eyes for their contributions. And do you know what? That I get a big, huge lump in my throat when I read that because there's so many players that just didn't get that acclaim from the fans, as they've just said. Billy Sharp didn't get that. I think Billy Sharp expected to get another year. Didsey kind of got that last game of the season. He came out waving to the fans and stuff. I knew it was the last time we were ever going to see Didsey at Bramall Lane. Yeah, but it didn't quite, it wasn't all sorted by that point. We weren't waving goodbye. We were just, I don't know, in no man's land really, because it were like he might not come back, he might. And there's been so many other players during the COVID season. There were quite a few as well. I don't think there were many that we actually were that bothered about, like kind of not seeing again. But yeah, there's certainly been lots and lots of players that haven't really got that recognition in their last game. I hope Norwood gets brought on. I don't think Baldock will be fit for the game. If he is, I'd love to see him come off the bench. Wes will start. Max Lowe might even start, or we might actually play LaRucci. Who knows? But let us know in the comments what you guys are thinking. We'll get round to that before we move on to the next section. The rest of the quote, with the visit of Tottenham Hotspur on Sunday being United's last fixture, special acknowledgements will be paid to the 5 with further tributes across the club's digital platforms, which we've already seen some of that, haven't we? We've seen Chris Basham get a lot of love. We've also seen Ollie Norwood, a couple of compilations from United doing the rounds. I don't know whether United posted them recently or just United fans are bringing them up from a while back, but some of those balls from Ollie Norwood will live in Blades memories for life. And lots of Blades have already said that Ollie Norwood's the best midfielder they've seen in their lifetime. And I just want to echo that. Like, there's been lots of talk about Michael Brown, Ollie Norwood, Michael Tong, even players like that. But for me, Michael Brown did it one season. He was incredible. There was no midfielder in my lifetime has had a better season than that. But Norwood's done it over probably, I would say, at least 3 seasons. And it was certainly fantastic in the promotion campaign, the first one, and then in the Premier League, those 2 seasons, he was unplayable. But anyway, let's get into talking about some of these players. So George Baldock, I'll run through the stats, his numbers, and we'll talk a little bit more about best goals and things like that. So George Baldock, 219 appearances for the Blades, 6 goals. Doesn't seem a lot, does it, when Jayden Bogle's popping up and scoring every 2 minutes? But Baldock was certainly a different player to Jayden Bogle, isn't he? 2 promotions under his belt, which just shows, and the fact that in those 2 promotion campaigns, Baldock played a big part in them. The second one, not as much as the first, but certainly the first one, he was incredible, and then the 9th place finish as well. And I will say his best season for me was the Premier League season. I think the season before, he was also really, really good when we got promoted. But the season in the Premier League when we finished ninth, George Bullock was fantastic. But they all were, weren't they? They all were. But I just want to say that is my best George Bulldog year. The same with Chris Basham as well. 394 appearances, 15 goals, three promotions. And for me, his best season is the 2019-2020 season again. Like it's going to be for a lot of these players. But yeah, 15 goals from Bash. Did not think he'd scored that many, but I think he actually scored a lot pre Chris Wilder when he played midfield for the Blades. But I've got down here best goal for Chris Basham, leads away. Just for the moment, really. It wasn't, it was a bit of a scrappy goal, but Basham arriving. What more can I say? Special mention to Scunny away as well. I went to that one where I think it was Duffy played it short. Someone flicked it through. I'm trying to remember it now. I've watched it recently as well. And then Basham fires it in the corner. Really, really well played free kick. By the way, let us know in the comments as well what goals, who your like favorite games, favorite goals, best seasons for these players are. Norwood, 252 appearances, only 11 goals for Norwood. But when he scored, they were screamers, either screamers or penalties anyway. Two promotions, and again, his best season for me, 2019-2020. But again, he certainly had a fantastic 18-19 season in the promotion season. Best goal, Brentford away for me when he curled it into the far corner from that little knockback. What a goal and what a celebration as well. Knee slide away under the lights, raining. What more could you want? All Blackburn at home, the complete opposite. Home game, sunny, free kick right into the far corner. Brilliant. West Fodringham, 111 appearances, 39 clean sheets, which doesn't actually sound a lot. I need to fact check that because Hal's giving me all these facts. Need to fact check that, Hal. Sorry, mate. I do appreciate it, though. I really do appreciate it because those first, maybe it is right. I was thinking he almost got 30 clean sheets in that first season back in the championship. So, yeah. He's not managed to keep any clean sheets this season. No, he has. No, he has. It was Brentford at home. Brentford at home. His best season for me was the 21-22 season in that first season back in the championship. What a goalkeeper he was that season. So many clean sheets. Saved so many really, really just shots and saves that just come from nowhere. It was really good in the promotion season. He's got one under his belt, but it was even better the season before. What a keeper! And then finally, Max Lowe. Yeah, we're sort of ending this section on a bit of a low because 52 appearances, nowhere near the others. One goal. I remember the goal like it was yesterday as well. 9 assists. That's pretty good for 52 appearances, especially as some of them will be coming off the bench. One promotion, and his best season for me was probably 21-22 when we got promoted. So was that 20? No, I think that meant to be 22-23 last season because he had a decent season. I don't think it was a fantastic season, but he had a decent season. He played a lot of games, and he was our starting left back for most of it, or left wing back. Best goal, Sunderland at home. Obviously, that was the only goal where he ghosted into the box and tapped it in the back of the net after a fantastic move. But we'll get into some comments before we moved on to the other rumored to be released. By Norwood, by Basham, and don't bang your head on the way west and low. Wow, that is brutal. Football for life. That is brutal, mate. By Norwood, by Basham. That doesn't sound that nice, actually. They deserve it. They deserve so much credit. Sorry to see Bulldog go, but the others were expected. I'm not. We still have Jaden Bogle, who's century ahead of George. Wow. I disagree. I disagree. Good luck, former Blade Leon Clark, who has retired today. He has. Hal's right. Leon Clark put a statement up, including I think it was one of the goals against Wednesday, on Instagram earlier on. So that's a long career Leon Clark's had in a lot of clubs, a hell of a lot of clubs. Hal's given me. Do you know what? I think that we need to talk about it. Chris Basham. We're talking about Leon Clark. Possible. Well, we're talking about Leon Clark retiring today. Could Chris Basham retire? If I know Chris Basham, if there's a chance that he plays football again, he will make sure he does it. But it was a horrendous injury, and I think he's had a couple of operations on it. So we'll have to wait and see. But I'd love to see Basham at Bramall Lane again after Sunday. Whether that's him playing or whether that's him coming on and just giving the fans a wave like a year or two after, or even more. We all love Chris Basham. We all do. Um, right, okay, here we go. Gaza should have kept Wes. There we go. I did mention that earlier on in the video. Gaza's absolutely right. I don't think there's too many keepers out there that's better than Wes. Maybe as good as Wes. Not too many better than Wes for cheap. Callum Patterson, he plays for Everton. Okay, fair enough. Might have been a different Patterson. What of it? Bullock hurts, Basham hurts this year, especially. The leadership lost. Lowe, meh, Norwood should have left last year. Yeah, you're possibly right. Where's sour note to end? Absolutely. Can't even remember when the last time someone had a testimonial at the lane. Chris Morgan. There we go. Yeah, I did mention it. Football doesn't do testimonials now. I don't think that's right. I really don't. Let's move through some more. Not sure about this with Norwood. We need a few players with experience and attitudes to train. Yeah, exactly. Exactly my opinion. It's only my opinion, but I would have kept Norwood. There we go. A few people saying they would have kept Norwood. Who do you want to sign, guys? Give suggestions. I'm writing down a list. There you go. If you want to be on that list, make sure you let Football for Life know. Nick, something different I've been saying since Chris Wilder returned. Can he be trusted to spend money? Now I read 8 million for Sunderland keeper. Please tell me it's only paper talk. I don't know, Thomas, to be honest. I don't know. He's a very, very good goalkeeper, in my opinion. I said this from really early on. Can't remember what year it was. It might have been when they were in League One, I think. Um, big fan of him. Patterson. Might be Callum, might not be. But 8 million is a lot of money, and I think that will eat into a huge bit of our budget. I don't know how much we're allowed to spend or how much the Prince is allowing Chris Wilder to spend, but I think 8 million for a goalkeeper, I can't see it happening anyway. I'll put it that way. Victor Johansson, I could see happening if it's kind of a million, 2 million, maybe even 3 million, because we all know he's proved, he's tested in this league, and he was Rotherham's Player of the Year, so it just shows that he's got it in the locker. I think he's better than Wes. I do. I think he'll be probably one of the best goalkeepers next season, whoever he goes to in the Championship. I do think he will go to a Championship club. I just hope that it's us, and I hope that he lives around here and he sees that Sheffield United is the right place for him, which would be nice. He might even live in Sheffield. Who knows? Norwood was a good bench player recently, but I think it's time for him to go. Lowe hasn't done much, to be fair. What a keeper Wes is. Wish we could keep him. What a player Bash was the only one. I would say Bash will retire, maybe take coaching badges. Let's hope so. I'd love to see Bash back as a coach. I think Bash has got an incredible personality, incredible character, and he knows the club as people are taking the mick out of Wilder bringing in people that know the club and know the mentality and stuff. But Chris Basham's just a legend, and it'd be nice to see Billy Sharp as well come back as a coach at some point in his career. Who knows? Billy Sharp was there at Everton away. We're on the lower tier, so I didn't get a chance to meet him. But Billy Sharp might be there with the lads because he deserves his send off, doesn't he? He never really got it properly, so it'd be nice that. If Fulham release Rodak, him on a free would be smart business. Agreed. Very good goalkeeper. Rotherham keeper with such a low release fee. Yes, absolutely. Signed Callum O'Hare, McAtee replacement. He's a ready-made McAtee replacement. He had been injured quite a bit though. I'm not sure if that was just one injury or whether that was a few injuries. But he has been injured for most of the season. But he's a fantastic player, and I think a Premier League club like a Palace will just think that it's a no-brainer. Even if he gets injured, he's a very, very good player. He is a Palace player for me. He could play with Eze, with Elise, whether they both stay there, I don't know. But I do think that he's a fantastic footballer. I'd love to see him. I think that he'll go to a Premier League club, especially if it's no money involved other than kind of signing on fees. Um, Smodix, yeah, Smodix is another one that people have been talking about a lot, but he scored a lot of goals for Blackburn this season. Blackburn have been rubbish. So I think there'll be a lot of teams after him. Maybe a Burnley or maybe a Norwich. I don't if they don't go up, teams like that. But yeah, I think Smodix will be gone. He won't be at Blackburn next season. According to the Swedish press, Victor is signing for Stoke. I did see that. I don't think that's true. Um, well, I think he'd rather come to Sheffield United than Stoke. We've got the parachute payments. It's close to Rotherham. I think he'd rather come to Sheffield United. It's whether we go for it for hell for leather for him or whether the recruitment team have got other people in mind. But I just feel like Victor Johansson is a no-brainer, and we need to be doing everything to try and get him. Um, Sooner West stay and Wilder go. Chris is saying, "Wowzers, that is a statement to make." There's two from Peterborough, left wing back Burrows. Yeah, Harrison Burrows is fantastic. He really is, and scores goals and creates goals. What a player that boy is. And the centre back Edwards. I don't know Edwards, but I'd love to see Harrison Burrows. But again, I think he might have even caught the eye of some Premier League teams. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Bash joins the likes of Booker and Brayford, cult heroes. Brayford. I love that people are still talking about John Brayford. Crazy, crazy. O'Hare to Ipswich, maybe that's a good shout, a really good shout. Big wages saved. If you keep players for too long, it can tarnish a player's legacy. I think you're absolutely right. And I was saying this to my missus before I came on here. The players that we're talking about, Basham, Norwood, George, all those three will be on big, big money because they've had two promotions in the belt. They'll have had big bumps up in pay when they've gone up. I think they'll be on a lot of money. And I think for the money you can get, you can bring in somebody who could do a similar job on a lot less money a week. So I get it. I completely get it. And Max Lowe's bound to be on quite a decent whack because we bought him when we are in the Premier League. Um, Brandon Williams, good shout. Michael Cooper is always a shout. He's always one of the names like Victor Johansson that does the rounds when everybody's after a goalkeeper. Johansson going to Derby, possibly. Derby's not too far from Rotherham. I could see that happening, but again, we've got to go get in there. We've got to get in there and make him come to Bramall Lane. Hope we've got players ready to be signed. Do you know what? Being the Blade, that is exactly what we need. That I think after this colossal mistake of not getting these players in early enough, you can say what you want about if they're good enough. The players that we brought in, obviously, it's proved that they're not. But we didn't get them in early enough. We let players go too late, and we didn't get them in early enough. So yeah, we need to get them in early. AC Milan supposedly after Souza. I think this is the perfect time to start talking about some other players. So I'm going to go through rumored players that are going to be released because I've seen a rumored list from a few different people, and they all have different kind of players on it. Because Max Lowe was one rumored to be getting another year on his contract, so I've seen a few different lists of um, these things being leaked. I don't know anything about it other than these leaked lists. So there's two players on the rumored to be released and what I expected to see being released today, but they weren't. Adam Davis being one. And do you know what? I'm fine for him to stay. If he's not on a lot of money and he's probably not a championship goalkeeper, I think he'd do really well in League One for someone. But if he's going to be our second goalkeeper and we bring in a Victor Johansson to go between the sticks, if the number one goalkeeper gets injured, maybe we look at loaning somebody else in. I don't think Adam Davis is a man that we can have between the sticks for a long period of time. But maybe an odd game if a goalkeeper gets sent off or gets a little injury or something like that, little niggles. So yeah, if they give him another year, they give him another year. It's not the end of the world. I'd rather us get rid of Ivo Gerbic, try and get a bit of money from that, and keep Adam Davis. If I'm honest, Jordan Amiss is another one that got rumored to being released. Um, I'm happy to see him stay or go. He seems like a nice lad. Seem to me, he's a colossal bloke. He's massive, tall, wide. His shoulders are huge. He's got the stature to be a very, very good goalkeeper for years to come. But maybe he's just not that goalkeeper. Maybe he's not good enough. And you know, I've seen him play once or twice, and he looks okay. But at the end of the day, Wilder and Nil and Prestige, etc., these are the people that are seeing him week in, week out. And yeah, they're the ones that are going to make the decision. Maybe it's one of those where we don't mind if he goes or stays, but we're trying to negotiate that wage and see what he wants and what we want. So we'll have to wait and see because there's three goalkeepers there that we've got, and none of them we're particularly happy with sticking the jersey on and getting between the sticks. Next up, we've got rumors to have one year extensions. Well, contracts triggered. This word triggered makes me laugh because I don't know who are the people that the players that are going to get triggered contracts because I don't. Some do, some don't. I didn't know that John Egan had a contract where we could trigger an extra year. Jaden Bogle was always the one that we were like, yes, his contract runs out, but he's got that in his contract to say that we can trigger another year. Reece Norrington Davis apparently is another one that will get a 1 year triggered contract. I'm sick of saying triggered. I'm struggling to get all these words out here. But John Egan, I'd be ecstatic if that's true and we get him for at least another year because it gives him chance to prove himself again because I think he needs to do that because I love John Egan. John Egan was our captain. He's obviously a character. He's obviously a leader. And I'd like to see John Egan after his injury come back into it. I don't think it was necessarily an injury that will reoccur. I think it's one of those crazy ones that just happened, and it was one of those things that put him out for the year. Hopefully, he comes back bigger and stronger than ever, and he gets a chance to prove himself in the championship because I think we've massively missed him this season. I don't think we'd have conceded anywhere near as many goals if Egan would have been at the heart of the defence. Don't get me wrong, we wouldn't have stayed up, but we would have been better. It I just feel like at times this season where Anel's played centre back, he doesn't organise the defence well enough, whereas Egan always kind of did. And yeah, I'd love to see Egan play again next season. Jaden Bogle, just mentioned, I'd be very happy for him to stay, but he needs to get his head right. It seems like he wants to move on. And if he doesn't want to be here, it's been rumored that he's going to go on the transfer list. He might get transfer listed. Who knows? But if he does get transfer listed, it's obviously going to be for the right reasons. And we've all seen it in the past, especially that right wing back spot. Kieran Freeman got put on the transfer list with Paul Coots, and he got off it and had a really, really good Blades career. Same with Paul Coots. So who knows? Jaden might play. He might not. He might get put on the transfer list. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see who comes in. But if he does go on the transfer list and then gets his head sorted, who knows? He might be off it and he might be a Blade for the rest of his career. Who knows? Reece Norrington Davis is one that I was unsure about, if I'm being completely honest, because Reece Norrington Davis, I've never been massively enamoured by him. I think he's okay. I think he's one of the better left wing backs that we've had in recent times. But he's never really proved himself to me. And then obviously he's picked up two back-to-back season-ending injuries. I just don't know how he's coming back and if he will come back and how long he'll come back for. So I have to wait and see. It's rumoured that we're going to trigger another year for Reece Norrington Davis. So we'll have to wait and see if that's true. Next are players that have been rumoured to be offered new contracts, and these are brand new contracts apparently. First up, we've got the contract extension king, Ben Osborne. I'm absolutely fine with Ozzy being given a new deal. I can't see him being a starter, especially not in midfield next season. I could actually see him being a starter at left wing back because I think he's done pretty well in the Premier League when he's played there. He's actually done well in the midfield as well. But looking at the players that we've got, Gus Harmer, hopefully we keep hold of him. Ollie Arblaster, hopefully we keep hold of him. I know he'll want to play for Sheffield United next season, but if a Man United, if a Man City, if a Chelsea come and knock in, it's hard to turn that down, isn't it? So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. It'd have to be at least 25 million, if not more. Daniel Jebison looks like he's been offered a new contract. I think he was offered a new contract a while ago, and he's just been dragging his feet. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with him. I'll be honest, I'm on the fence with Jebo. I absolutely love Willasula. I think Willasula will come really good. But Daniel Jebison, I know he's had injuries. I know he's had other issues off the field. But he's not really done it on the field. I think I've seen him play one or two really good games, and he's played a lot of games for the Blades. So yeah, I don't know about Jebo. If he signs a new contract, obviously massively behind the lad, but just not convinced right now. And the final one, I've left him till the final one because Ollie McBurney needs to stay. I wasn't a massive fan of McBurney. Well, I was, and then I wasn't, and then I am again. When he first came in, I thought he was the perfect player for Sheffield United, linked the play really well at Swansea, scored a load of goals the season before we signed him. He had an okay first season. I think it'd have been a lot better if he would have come in quicker and would have played him in the first game. I think he came off the bench. I don't think he really did much pre-season in that first season. Then he's obviously picked up injuries. He's had poor times. And then last season he was really, really good. Also, still picked up injuries. This season has been good in patches. Picked up injuries again. Picked up red cards. But I still want to see him sign de ting, as the kids say these days. So yeah, if you're watching Ollie, sign it, mate. Sign it. We all want to see you here next season. Rumored to have been or will be transfer listed. I've already mentioned Jaden Bogle is a possibility, but let's wait and see. George has been a fantastic servant for the club. I'd love to see Jaden be a fantastic servant for the club as well. But we'll have to wait and see. He's been really, really good this season going forward. Still a bit light in his defensive work. But I think in the championship next season, we'll have the ball a lot more. Jaden Bogle will be able to show off what he's got to offer. But as well, Jaden Bogle's had his injury problems in the past. He's had a good stint, a really, really good period of staying fit this season. And it's great to see. It's great to see for the lad, never mind us. We've also got Vinicius Souza, Vinny Souza, Vicious Susan, as we call him. Lots of people talking about him in the comments. It looks like we're going to try and sell him, and I'm fine with that. Like, I think he could be really good for us in the championship. If no one wants to pay the money that we want to let him go for, I don't think he'll go. I don't think we will press the panic button and let him go for 10 million. I think we're holding out for 15, 20 million. And if AC Milan want to pay it, then fine. I'll fly him there myself. But if he's a Sheffield United player next season and plays a lot of the season, I think he'll be really, really good in the championship, obviously. Next, we've got Ben Anis Slimani. Anis Ben Slimani, whatever way you want to say it. I'd give him more time. Ollie did a fantastic video on this channel talking about Anis Ben Slimani. And yeah, it could be good for us next season. I've seen a lot of talent from him this season. A lot. I've seen a couple of stints where he's played really well and looks the real deal, but he's just not been given enough time, has he? So I would certainly give him until January at least to see if he could break into the side because who knows? He could be like a new signing. Then there's Anel. I would just get the money for him and just let him go. I feel like he's got a bit too big for his boots. He was very, very good in the championship promotion season. This season, I think he's been better towards the end of the season. I think he was really, really poor in the middle. I think he'd lost his head. I think he thought that he was going to Lazio or Napoli or wherever it was, and he was just phoning it in. And then I think he realised, "Do you know what? I've got to play well, because if I don't play well, no one's going to want to come and buy me." So I think it's a bit of that. I think he's checked out already. He's not a Blade, in my opinion, anymore. I just think he's lost it. Like, we loved him. We absolutely loved Anel Ahmedhodzic, and I think he'll go down. I think he'll be a really, really good player in his career. I just think he's checked out, and if he stays at Bramall Lane and somehow we sort it out so we can balance the books and he stays, I'm absolutely fine with that. Imagine him next to Egan and then Jack Robinson at the other side. That defensive three, like it was getting promoted, will be hot. A really, really good defense next season, but I can't see it. I think we'll try and bring someone in. Maybe Paddy McNair. There's been lots of talk about Paddy McNair, and people told me that when he was when Wilder was at Middlesbrough, Paddy McNair played as an overlapping right centre back, and that's how they used him. Because I remember a Middlesbrough fan tweeting saying that Paddy McNair is the best right overlapping centre back there's ever been, and I'm like, are you off your head? He's not even the second best one. Anel is the second best one. Basham is number one, always number one. But yeah, yeah, I'd love to see him at Bramall Lane, but I think he's checked out Anel, and I think he's worth too much money for us just to keep. Bene Traore is next. Danny Hall tweeted this. This is a quote from Danny Hall's tweet. No way back for Bene Traore at Sheffield United after a decision was made on his future, with the Blades expecting interest from France in the Ivorian striker. Now, he's been on loan at FC Nantes. I don't think he's particularly pulled up many trees, but it seems like they're going to come in and pay the money for us to just let him go and kind of not really lose much on the deal. Uh, I wouldn't mind to see him in the Championship. I think he would be quite entertaining to watch, and I think he'd do okay. But yeah, it was a non-starter from the beginning with Bene Traore. I just feel like he was never strong enough, and his talents weren't enough to warrant him getting knocked off the ball too much. He's not even that quick. He's a bit quick, but he weren't even that quick. So yeah, unfortunately, I think Bene Traore will go. But again, I'm fine with seeing him at Bramall Lane if we didn't sell him. Austin Trust is a weird one for me. He's on here. My dad did say to me, I don't know where he got this from because my dad doesn't really go on Twitter. He just sees articles every now and then. And he said that Austin Trusty looks like he could be going back to the USA. And I'm like, surely not. Surely there's more money in the championship than there is in America. And it's much better league, obviously. So I think Austin Trusty could be a big asset for us in the championship next season. However, he's going to want to play left centre back, and Jack Robinson is just the man at left centre back. Maybe one of them plays left wing back. I don't know, but I can't see Austin Trusty wanting to sit on the bench all season. Obviously, if Jack gets injured, then he obviously goes in there. But paying 4 million for a player and not playing them and then being on the bench, I could see us moving him on if that's what it is, because Austin's not going to want to sit on the bench all season in the championship. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. And finally, what I want to go through before I go through the comments, what I want to just talk about is rumored development squad releases. This is a crazy one because I wouldn't normally care about this too much because I know a little bit about the development squad. Obviously, we've had a lot of players come through it recently. Arblaster, Asula, Brooks, Jebo, etc. They've all excelled in the development squad and the under 23s. And some of them haven't. And normally, if a player leaves, I'm not too bothered. I think it was Harrison Neal that I was a bit gutted about the last time somebody was sort of moved on, if you like, not necessarily released, but moved on. And we've got three, in my opinion, that are players that I expected to see more of. First one is City Peck. Um, this never looked like the case. He obviously, I think it was Brentford where he got minutes for us, and it was great to see. It looked like a very, very good player, or a very, very good talent anyway that we could nurture into a really good midfield player. I think he came through the Arsenal Academy. I think he came through the Arsenal Academy, and sometimes these players can find a home in a team just in the league below. A lot of the times they fall down the leagues and then they end up being a electrician or whatever. But City Peck really did look like he could have been something. And there's rumors going around online. I'm not going to mention them on here because it's not fair. The rumors might not be true. But if you want to Google his name, you'll probably find something, and that might be the reason why we've let him go. Um, so, like I say, Google it if you want to. I'm not. I don't want to talk about it on this channel. Next, we've got Harry Boys. I'm not going to make up that I've watched Harry Boys loads, but from what other people have said, I expected to see him in a Blade shirt a few more times. Try and break into the first team a little bit, as in like getting some appearances on the bench, maybe uh, like Sariki did, getting a start and trying to um, build his career in the championship. But it looks like he could be released too. Jilly Buyabu. Now, again, these players, I'm not saying that I've seen him loads. I've seen him a few times. Jilly Buyabu always impressed me, if I'm being honest. And I'm really, really surprised that we could be letting him go. Like I said, these players haven't necessarily been released, but these are what the rumors are telling us, and there's more often than not, there's not smoke without fire, is there? So, and the last two I can't really comment on because I've never seen either of them play. That's Owen Hampson and George Dickinson. So they're the five players that are rumored to be leaving from the development squad. So yeah, let us know what you think in the comments, and I'll get through some of your comments right now. Um, Lewis O'Brien, people think. I'll be honest, I'm a big fan of Lewis O'Brien. I'd love to see him at Bramall Lane. Same with Joe Worrell as well. Big fans of both. I think Worrell went to Turkey. I think he went to the Turkish league. Lewis O'Brien went to DC United, I believe it was. And I think he was at Middlesbrough last season on loan. So we'll have to wait and see. I'd like both of those two to play for the Blades. Same with Paddy McNair. I think Paddy McNair would fill in that Basham mold perfectly. I'm not saying that he would be a starter every week necessarily, but I think he'd be a really good squad player, really good addition. Maybe like um, I don't know, somebody. I'm trying to think of his name. Martin Craney. Maybe a Martin Craney, one of those sorts of players that could break into the first team and help us get promoted. Cash in from Derby. I know who you mean. I've not seen too much of him, so I can't really um, give you much on that one. Let's focus on signing up Jebo first. Given my opinions on Jebo, I don't think I really need to say much more on that. Team Talk, Fraser Gillian just reported that Victor is travelling to Stoke now to sign a deal. Oh, I didn't want to know that, Scott. I didn't want to know that. I appreciate you telling me, but I didn't want to know that. I really, really want him at Bramall Lane next season. We can't afford. Why can't we pay off Gerbich? I don't know. Gerbich is just. I think he's going to be too much money to pay off. At the end of the day, we spent 2.5 mil on him ish, around that 2 mil, 3 mil, something like that. And he's going to be on some good wages. If he was at Atletico Madrid, he will have been paid decent wages. So I don't think we can just pay him off. I'm not sure how many years we signed him on, but it's going to be too much. I can see us making a loss on him just to get some money in the account, but we'll have to wait and see. Adam Davis, I could see it like a Burton. Agreed. I said this a while back that he could be somebody Simon Moore, like we had him in League One. He could go to someone in League One and have a really solid League One career. Arblaster will get sold off. Vinicius hopefully and Harmer. is someone to build the midfield around. You're absolutely right. Plymouth would have got relegated had it not been for numerous saves by Michael Cooper. Absolutely. There we go. I'm with you. I'd like for us to keep Harmer and Anel both top quality in the championship. Um, so would I. So would I, but we'll have to wait and see. Goalkeeper is one of the most important positions. Brian Clough spent big on Shilton. They are as important as strikers. Need a strong spine to any team to succeed. I'll be honest, Terry. You're absolutely right, and I agree with you. But I think as Sheffield United fans, we take a goalkeeper for granted because we've had so many great ones in the past. When we had Simo, you noticed that we need a good goalkeeper because Kelly, Tracy, um, Paddy Kenny, Dean Henderson, Simon Moore. We've had so many strong goalkeepers and so many really, really good goalkeepers that it's just a bit of a weird one when we have a bad goalkeeper and we're like, oh my god, do we actually need someone good in the goal? So you're absolutely right. We need a good goalkeeper. Adam Davis is horrific. Being one injury away from him being in net would be a disaster. He's dropped a clanger every game he's played for us. Not everyone, just most. Adam Davis is too good for Burton. I would have him part of the deal for Victor from. Do you know what? That's a fantastic idea. Gaza, go and tell Wilder, get on the blower, tell him to stop driving to Stoke, turn back round. They can have Adam Davis, and we'll give him Gerbich. No, I'm joking. And we'll give him a million as well. That's a good deal. That is a good deal. Bash should be on the coaching staff just for the youngsters. I feel like we say this quite a lot when a player that we absolutely love finishes at Sheffield United and they're moving on, whether they're going to go to another club or whether they're retiring, I feel like we always say they should be on coaching staff. And I think Bash and Sharpie should. But we say it every time, don't we? Jags should have been on the coaching staff. Um, like everyone should be on the coaching staff. We'd have such a big coaching staff. Some good players available on freeze. Um, yeah, all those on screen right now. I've seen Moat being linked with us. Brownhill, I can't see Brownhill coming. I think he'll be playing surely next season. Get rid of Anel, not done anything, and I think he's worth a lot of money, isn't he? Archer, Ben Brereton Diaz, Ollie would tear this division apart. Anel, Truster, and Wilder were League One bound. Right, there we go. Yeah, we're not going to get Archer and Ben Brereton Diaz. No chance. We might get. There's a tiny, tiny possibility that we might get one of those first two. Be nice to see Ollie sign a contract, but I can only see we might not have any of them. But be nice to see Ollie McBurney at least. That's what I'd go for. Couldn't get Victor Sorensen from Palace. If Bogle leaves for free, watch him sign for Palace or even West Ham and suddenly get an England call up. Each to their own. He won't leave for free this season. He might leave for free next season. Is that quality is England's fifth best right back? I don't think that's true. In my opinion, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but we've got a lot of good right backs still. A lot of good right backs. That's why George Baldock never got a call up for England because we had so many good right backs. And that season in the Premier League, the first one, it was incredible. Jebo needs to go. Elaine says, "I'd keep McBurney. Signed a ting fam." There we go. God, why did I say that? McBurney's too injury prone. I get that. I get that as well. McBurney needs to stay. Not the biggest fan of him, but he's one of our senior strikers. Not counting Brewster. There we go. As I was driving home earlier on, I was thinking if BBD goes back, if McBurney doesn't sign a new contract, we're only left with Asula and Jebison. And I'm like, oh, wait a second. We've got Brewster too. It'd be great. I'd absolutely love to see Brewster be injury free next season, but it's going to be difficult. There's also Ryan One as well and Louis Marsh. I'd love to see Ryan One get some minutes next season, but I do feel like he will go on loan somewhere else and bag loads of goals. I really do. Yes to One and Marsh. That'd be good to see. I've seen Marsh a couple of times and he seems a bit lightweight and he doesn't seem involved in the game enough for me, but he's certainly done really well in the development squad. So let's see. shall we? 20 for Souza. I think, yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Hey up, Dom. Welcome to the stream, mate. There's lots and lots of comments flying in now. Thank you very much. Get Billy back in the dressing room. Completely agree, Brian. Completely agree. It'd be great to see. Hope we don't have loans as the bulk of our team next season. If we do go back up, we will be in the same boat as we're in now, possibly. But loans are a huge part of teams getting promoted. If you look over the past, I would say 4 to 5 years, lots and lots of teams are made up, or promoted teams are made up of 3 or 4 really, really good loans. If you get your loans right, you get promoted. If you don't get your loans right, you don't get promoted. It's simple as that in the championship, in my opinion, still, obviously. Each to their own, but that is just how I see it. And every time we've got promoted, we've got our and if we'd have got another 1 or 2 loans right in the season before when we brought in Morgan Gibbs White, we would have got promoted that season for me. Because Morgan Gibbs White was incredible. We got him right last time out, but yeah, it'd be nice to see us get him right again. I do think that yes, we need some players that are our own, but there's certain players out there. Like McAtee, we wouldn't ever be able to afford him unless he has a couple more um, stinker seasons. Morgan Gibbs White would have never been able to afford him. Well, yeah, I suppose Forest did when they got promoted. But there's all these players that we wouldn't be able to afford normally that we get on loan. And yeah, I hope we get those right. We seem to get them right most seasons, except for the last one, other than Ben Barrett and Diaz. I rate Gillette could be brill for us, in my opinion. I hope so, Sarah. It'd be nice. Tough championship next season. Portsmouth Derby, possibly. Bolton coming up. Wednesday waiting for us. Plus teams, Middlesbrough, Burnley, maybe even Leeds. We'll have to see. I'll have to wait and see, because I thought the year we came down, there was Norwich, there was Watford, there was Burnley. There were some big teams. I thought West Brom were going to do well. They really didn't. But there were some big teams in there, and Norwich massively underachieved. Watford massively underachieved. So you never know. We might get some that have gone up, like Pompeo, like Bolton, that kind of challenged towards the top. Can't see Bolton doing it, but I could see Portsmouth possibly doing it. And then we might see teams like Leeds having to have a fire sale if they don't go up, and Leeds might have to do a similar rebuilding job as what we've done. And Middlesbrough, obviously, Michael Carrick's done quite well for a couple of seasons. They might press the panic button and try someone new. Carrick might want to go for pastures new and go elsewhere and try and flex his muscles with a bit of a budget. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. It's going to be a tough season next season. I think if Leeds go up, that helps us. Yeah, I'd like to see Leeds or Southampton go up, just so that it's a slightly easier league next season. Worrell only went on loan, mate. He's a great leader. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I should have said that. I know he only went on loan, but I was just mentioning that obviously we tried to sign him, or we wanted him, I think. And I would have liked to have seen him, but he obviously went on loan to a Turkish side. Adam, nice to see you, mate. Cashing would be superb. Like I said, I've not seen enough of him. Everson as a goalkeeper, if Johansson is a no-go, good shout. Because we have parachute cash, clubs will try and take advantage. Look how much we paid for some of those turkeys last time. I think you're right. I think people will try and take advantage, but we obviously won't fall into that trap like we have done previously. Doyle and McAtee, do you know what? I could see, I know Doyle has signed for Wolves. I could see us getting him on loan, maybe not next season, maybe the season after. I can see Doyle coming back to Sheffield United at some point. I'm not sure he is a Premier League player yet. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's better than what Wolves have got. I can't see him going out on loan this season, but if he doesn't have a good season, the season coming, I think he might go out on loan, or they might actually cash in on him, because they've got a pretty good deal because of the player going, the Portuguese player, I've forgotten his name, going to Man City. Um, Loans are a must. There we go. Adam's absolutely right. Nick, interested to know where you think we'll finish next season. John, do you know what? I can't answer that question until I see who comes in. I think I'll have a really good stab at where I think we'll finish if, well, as soon as I see who we bring in. At the moment, we could finish bottom half. We could win the league. Who knows? It's gonna be a tough league, but if we get this rebuild right, I think Chris Wilder could be the right man for the job to take us back up. It also could all come crashing down, and he might be sacked by January. Who knows? It's going to be a tough one to call. Bring Moose back. I did actually think about this. I did. I thought about it because I still think he's without a club, and who knows? Weirder things have happened. He can't stay fit, but if we did a pay as you play or we gave him barely anything and just let him train, see where he's at, who knows? I might be talking crazy. Let me know in the comments if I'm talking crazy. Paul seems to think I am. There we go. Moose is made of glass. He is. He is. It's true. Oh, Wolves on keeping Doyle apparently. There we go. Let's bring McAtee back. Hopefully, I'm not dreaming. Who knows? Who knows? But I can't imagine Doyle wanting to come back. McAtee wanting to come back next season when Chris Wilder's barely played him since he's come in. So I can't see McAtee wanting to come back, but he's not set the world alight this season. So I think he'll go on loan to a team that's gone up. But you never know. You never know. Nick, do you actually think we can be up there and go for it? Or is it just the 12 years in the championship like my sweet 16 years? To be honest, I went to the last 3 away games of the season, and this is me being completely transparent, completely open. I went to the last 3 away games because I wondered if we were ever going to get back to the Premier League or when was the next time we're going to get back to the Premier League. And that's not because I don't have loads and loads of expectations in Wilder and stuff. If this rebuild is not done correctly, we might be in the Championship for another 12 years. I started watching Sheffield United the year we got relegated, or the year after we got relegated from the Premier League. So I spent most of my childhood watching Sheffield United in the second tier, and I feel like that's where we belong and that's where we thrive. But I always wanted us to get promoted to the Premier League, and yeah, it could be another decade in the Championship. Who knows? But yeah, I certainly don't want us to see League One again for a while. So we need to be towards the top. We really do. And I think we can be. I really do. Doyle could be a January signing. Who knows? Let's go Wrexham up the league. Ooh, no, thank you. Nathan Ferguson as well, leaving Palace for free. Supposedly can play centre back or right back. I don't know how half of these players are, to be honest. I spent too much time watching Sheffield United and being depressed about watching Sheffield United. I heard how Hecky treated Moose. I'm guessing that's disgusting. I don't know about that, if I'm being honest. No chance we get cash in with Derby being promoted. Nick, you've lost the plot. Yes, I know I have, Adam. I know I have. However much it costs, BBD, permanent or loan, make it so. I'd love to see that. Ben Brereton Diaz, 2 million loan fee if we get promoted, compulsory 20 million buy clause. What? 20 million, Adam? 20 million? I love Ben Brereton Diaz as much as the next person. But 20 million, I think Ben Brereton Diaz is probably worth between 5 and 8 million. Maybe a little bit more because he's a striker. But 20 million, you're off your rocker, mate. I would pay a £2 million loan fee for the season because it's Ben Brereton Diaz and he will score us goals next season. But I think he'll want more of his career than playing in the Championship next season, to be honest. But anyway, let's leave it there. Thank you very much for being with me we're almost hitting an hour. So, yeah, I didn't expect to be talking this much. Let us know what you thought of the video, what you think of these players leaving. Obviously, it's been a long time since we spoke about those legends that are leaving in Baldock, Basham and Norwood. Obviously, obviously Wes and Lower in there as well. But those first three certainly are legends in my eyes, and I think will be right now. Obviously, they're recent legends, but I think if we look back on those three, the games that they played, the promotions that they've had, I think we'll look at back at them as legends forever because they just are, especially Bash, especially Norwood, especially Bulldog. Just said especially to all three. But yeah, big fan of all those, and I hope they go on and have really, really good careers, especially Bulldog because he deserves more. He deserves more. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, ladies and gents. Like I say, let us know what you think in the comments, and I will see you very, very soon. Up the Blades. We've only got one more game. Let's give them a great send off and try and win a game of football. Thanks for watching.